with financial literacy, I would say, you got a budget. What happens when someone doesn't have money to budget? So you have to start there first to say, okay, these are some things that you can do to bring in some money first. And then we'll start talking about how to have a spending plan and going forward. So financial literacy for me has always been to help people who have not had a lot be able to at least get something to start on that path to not only surviving, but eventually thriving. On the dream sheet, what I didn't tell you is that we didn't go out to eat for 2 years. We didn't go on vacation for 2 years.
We didn't go out to eat for 2 years.
For 2 years, we didn't go out to eat. We did not go on vacation.
I don't advise that to people. Hi, Janae. Welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you. And so for people who don't know you, what's your story? Tell everybody about you.
So I am Janae Adams. I am the owner of EMACK Consulting. So it is a financial wellness firm where we work with people around the world, whether it's through university, corporate America, and corporations around the world, as well as government entities when it comes to financial literacy and financial wellness. So I am someone who truly loves financial literacy, and that has been my life for like the last 13 years.
And you have your own business, like you said,
yes.
And you have a website that you called debtsucksuniversity.com. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yes, definitely. So although my company is named EMACK Consulting, most people know me by Debt Sucks University. And so that is where people are able to come and learn more about our company, learn about my speaking, as well as my workshops and my live webinars. And of course, being able to see exactly the type of products that I have when it comes to, the 2 books that you see right there on the front page of the website is the Debt Sucks University book that is for college students, as well as those who are in high school and middle school. And then, of course, with the Money Attractor book it was my second book, and that's for everybody else. So those that are actually out of high school, out of college or university and well into life. So that was my second book, but both of them pretty much share my story about how I paid off the $50,000 of debt in the 2 years. And so I go around the world sharing those strategies step by step of how I did that with, like I said, students, employees, as well as government officials as well around the world.
So the first book, Debt Sucks University, is more about a college student guide. Is that right?
Yes, it is. And so a lot of times, even middle school and high school students, they also can read this book because it's kind of preparing them for college. But those that are in college, over 20,000 books have been sold since that has come out, because it really helps not just the money part for college students.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you so much. It doesn't just help with the money part of being a college student, but being able to, do your best in the classroom and do your best out in the community. So being an all-around person, which actually leads to you making more money.
Wow. And then the Money Attractor. So what is it about?
Yeah, so the Money Attractor, it really digs into your adult life when it comes to money. So while Debt Sucks University, the story starts while I'm in college. This story starts the day that I was laid off from my job and found out I was in $50,000 of debt. So there is not many people around the world that do not know the story of having their own layoff from a job. I think many people have been fired before or laid off.
Especially right now, there's a lot of laid off.
It's a lot of people being laid off. And when I was laid off in 2008, the whole entire world was getting laid off. So I think a lot of people can relate to that part of that story, starting right there and finding yourself, in trouble financially. And so that's where that book starts. And then I walk people step by step of how I paid the $50,000 of debt off in the 2 years.
Wow. You also been featured in a lot of press article like Business Insider. I like this one that I saw 5 strategies a former pharmaceutical sales rep used to quit her full-time job and start a successful business. And here you have, after paying off $50,000 of debt, Janae Adams wanted to leave her full-time job. She stuck to a 2-year plan to quit her job while keeping living expenses down. Her business has been going strong for 11 years, and Adams hasn't looked back since.
Yes.
Wow.
And,
Do you
and
wanna
so
share?
this was a really close story for me, because Business Insider actually did a 3-part series, which I didn't know
Okay.
that they were going to do when they interviewed me. But a lot of people don't know that I was in pharmaceutical sales for about 10 years. And so, as a pharmaceutical rep, you made some really good money. Yet
Yeah,
to when I
yeah,
got
actually, yeah, that's true.
yeah, but yet when I was laid off, from that pharmaceutical job, I found myself in $50,000 of debt. So it's I think I talk about it in this article that many of us, when we have a job and we're making money every single month or every 2 weeks, as long as people are getting paid each and every time, we're fine. We don't look at what debt we're in, as long as the money's is getting paid each and every month. And that's one big lesson I learned when I was laid off, that although I was paying people, we were going deeper and deeper into debt each and every month. And so that was an important part of the story, is being able to understand that you can make a lot of money and still be in a lot of debt up to your eyeballs. And so it's not ever about the money, it's about the person and how they actually manage the money. And so that's one important lesson that anybody can take away.
Yeah, and actually, I saw in your LinkedIn profile, it was a great company, like, Pfizer.
It was, yeah, it
I'm,
was that.
I'm like, do you still own Pfizer stocks? Because they are really big now.
Yeah. So when I left there, I took all my money.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was just like, and that's another lesson for people who have retirement plans within their company. It's something to look at. Like, look at how much of your money is actually in the stock of that company and how much money is not. And when I was laid off, almost 100% of my 401k was in their stock. And so that was also less for me to pay attention to what I am investing in when I was working for somebody else. I obviously took all that out because I was vested. I had been working for them for 5 years, took that money out and invested it in ways that I wanted to invest.
Wow. Imagine if you keep that up to today.
Yeah. Who would have known that a pandemic would have
No,
came,
that's
12
true.
years
That's true.
later, and they would have capitalized on it. Yeah.
True. Yeah. Wow, that's a great story. You also have your YouTube here where
Mhm.
you publish some videos. Please, guys, go ahead and subscribe. I already subscribed by myself. Great stuff. More
Thank
than
you.
200 videos here. Also your Instagram. You have these are great posts, by the way. Instagram posts, they're really good. So let's get back to financial literacy.
Mhm.
So what it is for you, and why is it important to learn about it?
Yeah. So what financial literacy is to me, and I use that word because that's the word that everybody knows. Everybody knows the word financial literacy. But to me, it's just a way to be able to handle the money that you have, or be able to bring money into your life so then you can handle money. A lot of people always, with financial literacy, are saying, you got a budget, you got a budget. What happens when someone doesn't have money to budget? So you have to start there first to say, okay, these are some things that you can do to bring in some money first. And then we'll start talking about how to have a spending plan and going forward. So financial literacy for me has always been to help people who have not had a lot be able to at least get something to start on that path to not only surviving, but eventually thriving.
Actually, I like that. Instead of just going off, hey, let's have a budget, let's
Mm-hmm.
save money. You said a lot of people, don't have the money to begin
Yeah,
with. So,
exactly.
so what's your advice
Mm-hmm.
for people to make more money, like to make extra income, how to bring money in?
Yeah, so even I have worked with people who don't have anything, and being able to talk to them about, okay, what is your hobbies, what are things that you're passionate about, and let's see how we can make money from them, how can we monetize them. And I have done this entire strategy not only here in the United States, but in Canada, South Africa, Dubai. It works each place because everybody has a talent, everybody has a skill. And so can you are you good at making pies? Are you good at making a certain stew, or you're being able to sew or knit? Can we be able to do that and sell it to a friend or sell it to someone at your church or at your school or anything like that? And if it's just $10, $5, $20. That's $5, $10, or $20 that you didn't have the day before. And then we build off of that. And so even if it's a small child, my daughter is actually 11 years old and she has a bracelet business. And she came in, she came in the other day because she had started it back up now that school is out, and she had made $20 in a few hours. And I said, she's an 11-year-old, but she took a skill set that she has, which is making bracelets, something she loves, and just selling it to people and making obviously a big profit off of it, because it takes hardly nothing cost wise to make those bracelets. So it's just being able to look at whatever you love to do that you'll do for free, and let's figure out how to make money from it.
I like that. So you talk to people and then you figure out what skill they have.
Yes.
Then you build on top of that. You say, okay, you already love doing this. Let's try to see how we can make this a business. And you start getting money in. Then you can start helping them on other financial literacy tools. So
exactly,
you were able to pay off a lot of debt in 2 years. I really want to know, how did you do that? Share with us.
Yes.
How can you pay off, $50,000 in 2 years, or $25,000 a year?
Yeah.
That's really
and some people are surprised by the answer. Okay. So everybody stick with me here as I tell you the answer. So the first foremost, before you get into the tactics and the strategies, you have to I have something that is called a dream sheet. And the dream sheet is something every audience that hears me speak, they get one. And the dream sheet is your short term is 6 to 12 months. Your intermediate is 3 to 5 years. And your long-term dreams are 10 to 15 years. So the day that I was laid off, I actually made my own dream sheet that I have still on my refrigerator today. And it was all about what you would do, where you would go, and who would you help if money was an issue. So what would you do? Where would you go, and who would you help if money was an issue? And you wrote out every one of those dreams on that dream sheet. Now, I always tell people, never put paying off debt as a dream on that dream sheet, because paying off debt is not a dream. It's about what you want to do most out of life. So some people, they want to be able to take their grandmother to another country to visit, okay? Or they want to be able to buy their own home, those kind of things. Those are dreams. And so it's your why. The dream sheet is all about your why, because a lot of people say, Janae, how did you pay off the $50,000 a day in 2 years? And I always say, well, that's the wrong question. It's why I did it. Right. And that's what the dream sheet is about. The dream sheet was my why. So every time that I ran into a pretty much a financial wall, let's say that we needed some new brakes on the car, or something happened to a refrigerator, it didn't make me stop and just give up. It was just like, okay, the dream for 3 to 5 years from now is to be able to go to Europe with your family. So let's keep going and paying it off. And then we went into those strategies that everybody else would be interested in, but you have to have your why first. And so from there, once you got your dream sheet together and you put it where you can see it each and every day, then we start talking about, all right, let's look at what we're spending our money on. People around the world do not know what they're spending their money on every month. Right. Because we have busy lives. Every single day we're running. Every single day we're running. I don't care where you live at in the world. I've been a lot of places. Everybody's running every single day. And so you have to take the time to do what I call a 2-week expense tracking. So where you track every penny that comes out of your pocket for 2 whole weeks. 2 whole weeks. And you start on the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month. And you just write down everything that you or those that live with you spend their money on. So it could be, you go out, let's say you go to a gas station, a petroleum station, and you buy, a drink for $1. That needs to be recorded, everything, your cell phone bill, where you live at, if you have to pay to live there, all of that needs to be recorded for 2 weeks, because you have to know where your money is going. And people each and every month just let pennies and dollars fall through the cracks because they don't know how much things are. So if it's your cell phone bill or your mobile bill, and you say, okay, it costs $100 a month. That's usually the cost in the United States, $100 a month. But if you looked at their bill, it's $115.12. So every month they're missing $15.12. And they do that with everything. And so they're losing hundreds of dollars each month and then asking themselves, where's my money going? There's no tracking. So that I would say those are the first two steps that people need to do. Get your why written down with a dream sheet, and then track where your money is going for those 2 weeks so you can get a baseline of what you need to do next.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I like
Yeah.
that. Dream sheet. That's really good. You have your why that helps you wake up every morning and say, okay, this
Yes.
is my goal. This is my why. And then you're tracking your expenses, but still getting back to the paying off the debt, 50,000. Then how do you do it? Do you try to cut off some of your expenses? That's how you pay off the debt?
Yeah. So once you find out what the expenses are after those 2 weeks, then it's time to start to, first of all, do your spending plan. I don't call it a budget, because when people hear the word budget, they immediately shut down. They think it is something that is a prison for them. But a spending plan is just how you're going to, plan to spend your money. So once you get your spending plan together, you look at every single line on that spending plan and say, what can I cut out and what can I cut back? So going through there and saying, people who have streaming service, they might have Netflix, they have Hulu. Can I cut back on one of those and save $15 a month? Can I eat out less each week and maybe save $20 a week? Whatever it is, you're trying to find extra money. And then when you find that extra money, within cutting back, cutting out, you put that towards paying off the debt. So that first time we did the expense tracking, we did our spending plan and started to cut things out and cut things back. Because on the dream sheet, what I didn't tell you is that we didn't go out to eat for 2 years. We didn't go on vacation for 2 years.
Didn't go out to eat for 2 years?
For 2 years, we didn't go out to eat. We did not go on vacation.
You cannot advise that for people. It's hard to do.
and that's why the dream sheet is so important, because every time I wanted to try a new restaurant, I live in a city that our new restaurant opens every couple of weeks, and every time I wanted to do that, I looked at the dream sheet and I wanted to travel to Europe more in 3 to 5 years. So it's about saying no to the present so you can say yes to the future. That's what it's about.
So you cook all your food?
Yeah, we cooked all our food. Yeah, so we used to eat out with the 2 week expense tracking. We found out we were eating out $200 a month. So when we cut that out, we didn't save $200 a month. We saved $150 a month, because we need to add the $50 to the grocery list in order to cook more. So we just adjusted things. So I would cook, he would cook, those kind of things, and you make some spaghetti that can last you 3 days. So it's not actually cooking every single day. So a lot of people might say, I cannot cook every day. It's not about that. It's about finding food that can actually last a couple of days. But we didn't go out to eat for 2 years. We didn't go on vacation for 2 years. No one got a gift for 2 years. Not Valentine's Day, not birthday, not wedding anniversary, nothing. Wow. So what ended up happening, that money that we saved each month, we put it towards paying off the debt. So let's say that a car payment was $400 each month. That the two debts that we had, 25 grand for a car, 25,000 for student loan debt. Okay. And so if that car loan was $400 a month and we had saved $300 that month, we sent them $700 for the car payment and not $400. And so now you start to see how things get paid off a lot faster, because you're just finding extra money. You're selling things, you're cutting back, doing a little part-time job, and all that extra money is going towards the debt to bring the balance down.
Wow. That's a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work.
Yes.
2 years without eating out, 2 years with no gifts, trying to find all extra money. Because what you say makes sense, because it's very hard to increase your income, right? Like sometimes you try to find a second job, third job, do some extra money, find some side jobs, but someone need to hire you, someone need to pay you for the services. But the money you already have, the money you're already getting in, you can try to track those expenses and try to cut down on some of them. Now you have some extra money that you can put toward paying the debt. Wow, that was really aggressive. That's a very aggressive move. Wow, congratulations. Yeah. But
thank you.
Why is it important to pay off the debt? What someone can say, hey, let me just why do I have to pay off $50,000? makes you feel good, is a peace of
Mhm.
mind. It also help your credit score, right? Credit score.
Yeah. And for me, it was more about when I was laid off, when I found out I was $50,000 in debt. So we, at the time we had lost 60% of our household income, a company car, and a health insurance in one day. And like literally 10-minute phone call, I lost all of that. And then that day I found out I was $50,000 in debt. So with a 1-year-old at home, a 1-year-old son at home, I am panicking. And so for me, it was more of a survival issue. Like we have to get out of this. We can't survive this way. We can't have $50,000 in debt sitting over our head. Basically a house that's probably a year old. And so we had that mortgage and all this kind of stuff. And so a lot of people may say, well, I'm just fine with the debt that I have in my life. You're fine until you're not fine. And then that's where you don't want to be, because then you're trying to scramble and figure things out. And it might not be in the same situation where I was able to get another job in 4 months. Some people, it take 8 months to a year to find a new job. And so that's why it's important to get debt out of your life as much as possible, because debt is risk. It's just a risk. Because if I couldn't pay those bills during that time, they could have came and took the one car that we did have, and they could have kicked us out of our home, and we would have been homeless. That's what people should think about when they say, why should I pay off the debt? It's because you want to make sure that you're not having anybody in your life that can say, I'm taking this from you.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing now. I'm aggressively paying my house off now, because no one is going to be able to say, oh no, we can come take you and kick you out of something. No, I'm going to own it, and everything's going to be mine.
Yeah. So for people getting laid off right now, the economy, is very hard. What's your advice for them? How can they get back on their feet?
Yeah. So, and it depends on where people are watching us from. Here in the United States, we have something called unemployment benefits. And so being able to, you have to go into survival mode when you're laid off, and to find a way to, whatever your unemployment money that's coming in each week, move your expenses back down to that until you're able to find a new job. You also, like I said before, can use your hobbies and your skill set to do things on the side. So if you know how to teach tennis, that's what I did for $25 an hour during that time. If you speak another language, teach that language to people that are in school, they're elementary school, middle school, high school, college, whatever skill set you have. That's the extra money that you can do while you're trying to find a job. But definitely make sure that you're cutting back where you can to be able to survive until you get another job.
Nice. Okay. So let's talk about credit score, credit card. Do you have any thought on those, on that?
Yeah.
People who,
and so,
people who have bad credit.
Yeah. And so I'm very different from every other financial person when it comes to credit and credit cards. Like I said, I speak to college students around the world, especially here in the States. Like I tell them, leave credit cards alone, because it's just going to put them into more debt. Our student loan debt here, the average is $40,000 when people graduate. Wow. So they are coming out of school with, for 20, 40, and sometimes higher, $80,000 in student loan debt. So they cannot afford to go into credit card debt on top of that. And so when it comes to credit cards, I haven't had a credit card since 2006. So whatever I'm talking about, I do. And so I haven't had one because I don't see a point to it. I teach people, and this is part of the financial literacy philosophy for me, is that I want you to be your own bank. When you need something, you can go into your bank account and you can handle it. That's the whole point of it. And it's many countries around the world that don't even have credit cards. And that's something that Americans should think about.
That's
what?
True.
Like they do not.
They don't have that
at all. And you'd be surprised.
Exactly. There's no credit card.
At all. And I tell people that all the time.
Go ahead. Everything in cash.
Exactly.
Everything in cash.
Exactly. Or they pull their money together to help someone out. And so in America, they make you think that you got to have everything right now. And every commercial is about credit cards. Everything is about credit scores, because it's like, But when my grandmother was growing up, my great grandmother, they didn't have access to credit cards or credit scores. They built their own houses. They grew their own food. They made money. So why is it such a big deal now? It's because we're very impatient. And so being able to be patient is what helps grow wealth, and you to be able to use that wealth to be able to buy what you want. So I am a person that doesn't care about credit cards or credit scores. I could not tell you what my credit score is. Right. And so because I'm going for zero. I just want I'm paying my house down so I can get to zero. Now, people who have bad credit, now that's one thing that you have obviously borrowed money and haven't paid somebody back. And so you have to get that fixed. So I always tell people to make sure that they take the steps, and you can go to a nonprofit credit agency and they can actually help you. Never go to those places that you hear on the radio, on TV saying they help you with your credit. They are going to make things worse. Go to someone who's a nonprofit credit counseling agency and let them help you to be able to get your credit score back up. And then once you get it back up, then don't worry about it. Start building up your money again.
That was really good. You're very conservative in the in the financial sector, which is good. Also, but if you want to buy a house, if you want to get a mortgage, you're gonna need to have at least a good credit score, right?
And that's not necessarily true.
Okay.
So like I say, here in the United States, again, like I don't know where everybody's looking from, but in the United States, you have different, like you have what they call an FHA loan, which someone can have a credit score of 680 and be able to get it. I always tell people, and this is why I tell students, I said, you want to be cash rules everything. Cash rules everything, especially in the housing market. So I tell them, I say, you need to, strive to get a 20% down payment for a home. And instead of you going to the traditional banks to look for a mortgage, the only thing they're going to look at is your credit score. You need to go look for a mortgage broker who's going to look at your entire life, how long you've been working at your job, okay? And that you have a 20% down payment. They'll look at all that stuff first before they start worrying about a credit score. So they're looking at the actual total person. And so I've had a lot of people that have done it that way, and they've been able to get the mortgages that they needed.
So mortgage broker, what are those? Are these like banks, or they're special organizations?
Yeah, there's special individuals who are able to definitely be able to like look at all the institutions that offer mortgages. So that's what they're doing. So instead of you going to this one bank and dealing with this one person with this one opportunity for a mortgage, this person is able to look across the board at everybody and bring you the best deal, basically.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea because like you said, they can look at all the metrics, like how long you've been, staying at your job.
Yeah.
That, those metrics, they didn't take those into account for your credit score.
Yeah. And how great you've been paying your rent on time. Like things that actually matter because
rent. That's actually a great metric. Asking someone how long you've been renting and how many months you've been paying that on time. That's actually a good metric.
Exactly. And it's just a way to look at the entire person. The reason why 2008 housing crisis happened is because all these financial institutions only looked at a credit score. So they said you had a 780 credit score, but didn't realize you have a $40,000 car and you got $60,000 in student loans. So as soon as they lost their job, they lost their house like this. So mortgage brokers and doing things the right way with going out their house is going to make sure that you're not house rich and cash poor. We want people to be, cash rich with a good enough house, because that's what it's about. Like you need is to live in. So start with a starter home. You don't have to go for the $300,000, $500,000 home on your first try. Like look for some deals and get into your first home, pay that off, rent that out, and go to your next home. Like you can build a real estate portfolio. It just takes time. And in America, we don't like to take our times. We're very impatient. That's why we end up in debt.
Right. So retirement.
Yes.
How can someone plan for retirement? Especially for people working for companies, like the employers sponsor plans like 401ks, 403bs, or for someone who's a small business owner, how to get ready for retirement.
Yeah, so definitely if you work for someone who has an employer sponsored retirement plan, first and foremost, make sure you are in it. Okay, so once you get that job and you sit down with human resources and they're telling you all the good things, listen to the investment part and get into their plan. It could be, like you said, a 401k, a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k, whatever it is, get in there and at least invest up to the match. Like if they're going to give you a 3% match, that's basically free money. So invest up to 3%, they're going to match it. And then after that, you can go outside to a financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor. So, but I always tell people to find someone that they trust. And for those who are entrepreneurs, get with an accountant. Accountants know the tax code. They know it very well. And there are a few retirement plans for entrepreneurs. It just how your business is set up that you need to be able to do that. So whether it's a self IRA or a self-employed 401k, but you have to be a certain type of business to have that. But so definitely be able to talk to an accountant so that you as entrepreneurs can start your own retirement as well.
So investing, how, do you have any idea on that? How to invest? Also, we live in a crypto world. The crypto is coming in. So
I am not a crypto person. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but there's one thing I've always taken from, like the stars of the investment world is that if I don't understand something, I'm not investing my money in it. And more importantly, if I can't invest it to lose, I'm not investing it. And I don't have money to lose. And so you will never see me in crypto or Bitcoin or anything like that, mainly because of course, it's unregulated and they're trying to regulate it, which is a dangerous thing. Because the United States is a place that if they don't have control of it, they're going to destroy it. And I think that's what they're out to do right now with crypto and Bitcoin. But I don't have money to lose and people keep stealing it. And it's not FDIC insured. Is the government, U.S. government is never going to come save it. In 2008, when the crisis was happening, they swooped in and saved those banks. They will never save any crypto anything. They will let it die. They did it to FX and they would do it to anyone. So I can't put my money in something that people won't come to save.
Right. How about the stock market?
Yeah, so of course I'm definitely invested in the stock market, and so just being outside of what I do as an entrepreneur with my investment, I do have some stock in other places as well that I believe in the companies.
So how do you choose which stock to invest to? Do you go by index fund or do you go by individual stocks?
So I do both. So I do both. So I'm not somebody that is like, we always give it. I'm not going to give investment advice and everything, but if it's something that you believe in, something that you buy all the time, that is the easiest way to start. So, I love Apple. So of course I have Apple stock and that has been a good investment to go up. But the good thing is if you can catch it when it's low, people who invested in Google at first, my goodness, those kind of Google and Amazon and those kind of people, that's the ones that you wish you could get it. I think the newest one is it NVIDIA or something, like they caught the AI boom and now they're $1 trillion company. And so if you caught them at the beginning, you made some good money. I know a couple of people who caught them in the beginning and so they're smiling right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good investment. So stock market, that definitely is something that's worth pursuing.
After your employer's sponsor plan. After that,
it's more regulated, it's more stable. The U.S. government gonna always back up, those companies.
Yeah, they definitely with their investment banks. So what happened in 2008 when all of them, it was starting to be a domino effect. They came in and $700 billion and propped it right back up. And they're just not going to do that for things that they don't have control of, and they don't have control of crypto and Bitcoin or any of that stuff. Anything that's not regulated by them, they're not going to put taxpayer dollars behind it.
Money tips for high school grads. I saw one of your great video by the way on your YouTube. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What's your advice for high school grads?
Yeah, so high school graduates, that they are definitely in the real world now. And so that's what I made sure that they understood. That their entire life, somebody has woke them up to go to school. They have woke them up to go to their sport events. And life is not going to do that anymore. Life is going to be saying, oh, you want this? Where's my money? And so some of the tips that I gave them for those that were going on to university or going on to college is that you need to make sure that your financial aid is in place. Make sure the money is there, because the one thing that a college would do in the United States is kick you out over money you owe. And it can be as little as $200. I have seen it happen. Yes, I have seen it happen. They have kicked them out. Yes. Wow. And that person had been at that college for 2 whole years already. And the $200, they kicked them out until they paid it back, and then they could come back to campus. So I was telling those high school graduates, if you're going to college, that you needed to make sure your money was right. And for those that were going out into the workforce, after college, to make sure that they paid attention at their orientation. So when human resources starts talking about what your paid time off is, if you have any, what's your medical care, because a lot of people don't pay attention to that. And they go to the doctor, it's not covered because they're in the wrong doctor's office. They were supposed to be in a different one. And now they have a $3,000 bill that they can't pay. So medical debt in the United States is a huge problem. So I talked about paying attention to that, and whatever the retirement plan was, so that they can invest in that as soon as they got in there. So it was a 2-part, segment. It was talking about those going to college and what they need to look out for their money, and then those who were going into the workforce after high school and what they need to do with their money, because this is the fresh start. Yeah. Like you start your life off right after secondary, after high school, it makes it a lot easier. A lot of people start their life off wrong those first 4 years out of high school, and they can never recover.
So do you advise them to get into student loan debt?
And so I tell them first and foremost to find as many scholarships as possible. And they have scholarships for 6-year-olds. So you could have been looking for scholarships, but definitely while you're in high school to look for scholarships. If you haven't been able to get enough for college, sometimes student loans are a necessary evil, unfortunately. But what happens is that next school year, you need to have the scholarships as much as possible to cover that college education. And then I also tell them, when you graduate, don't keep the student loan like a pet. Pay it off aggressively. And so a lot of students, especially what I call first generation students, they're the first ones to go to college in their family. They don't come from rich backgrounds. They don't have a grandmother that can give them money. I was a first generation college student. If I didn't have a tennis scholarship, I probably wouldn't have been at school. So I understand that people have to take on student loan debt, but be strategic with it. Don't go to a college that's $40,000 and $50,000 a year. Go to a college that's $20,000 a year and maybe get some scholarships to pretty much put a dent in that cost. And then when you graduate with that, you get a new salary, live below your means, and pay that student loan debt off as quickly as possible.
Wow. So how about community college? Are those good option?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's a lot of people that are going to community college today, because a lot of times the first 2 years of college is general classes. You really get into your major until, you're going into your junior year, your third year of college. And a lot of careers only need a 2-year degree. Right. Some of them only need an apprenticeship, and they still pay you $80,000 a year. If you're a plumber or electrician, that is a highly paid job that you can get, with just an apprenticeship. So I always tell high school students, whether they're in their first year of high school or their last year of high school, be sure you know what you want to do before you go to college. Don't just go to college like, I think I want to do this. No, you don't need to do that. That's how you get into student loan debt, and a lot of it. And you stay in school too long. You go in for 5 and 6 years when you should have been in there for 4 years. And so I always say community college is a great option, especially if you're going for the first 2 years. You get those general ed classes, and then go ahead and graduate and go on to your 4-year. Yeah.
Also, that's good. Also about trade school. A lot of, yes, like you said, being an electrician, doing something technical, even IT. A lot of people can get some IT certification after high school, start working as an IT specialist, and then make some money. Maybe you can save money, pay off your own college.
Exactly.
Without getting into a lot of loans. Yeah.
And the great thing about here and where I live at in North Carolina, and then other places, is that they have what they call dual enrollment programs with high school. So you can actually get your associate's degree or that trade degree while you're still in high school. So
Nice.
you can go and you can go and learn welding. You can go and learn NASCAR, to be able to work with NASCAR teams and so forth while you're in high school. You come out with a it's not a nursing degree. And it's not a license, but whatever the assistant is for nursing, you come out and get that 2-year degree. So you can actually go and be able to work in a nursing home while you're in college, those kind of things. But you're getting that 2-year community college degree for free while in high school. And so then you only have 2 years left once you graduate from high school. You have the high school degree and your associate's degree for free. And then you go on to college for the last 2 years. So if people have that kind of program at their high school, look into it, get into it, and get your first 2 years done while you're still in high school for free.
Wow, that's a great program, actually. If you can get to high school and get a trade certificate at the same time, wow, what a great start in life. That's a great start.
It is.
Wow. So for college grads, what advice do you have for them about money management?
Yes. So for the college graduates, of course, they are coming out of college. If they have a job that they've received with their salary, they're making the most money they ever made in their life, that they've seen in their life. But the mistake I see a lot of college graduates make is that they go and put their life up to that amount of money. So they go and find themselves a 2-bedroom apartment, even though it's only one of them. They have to go get their furniture for that apartment. Some of them buy a car, and then they don't understand that 6 months later, that student loan bill is coming. And so they've already, maxed out their salary, their paycheck per month. And now here comes a $300 a month student loan bill that all of a sudden now they don't have the money to pay for. And so I always tell college graduates to live, like, you can live a little bit above the life you had as a college student, but not too much, and use that money to pay off your student loan. So let's say that you make $3,000 a month. I made, $3,000, $3,500 a month when I first came out of college. Live on $1,500 and then use the rest to either pay down student loan debt. And if you don't have that, save it for a house. Imagine $1,500 a month going towards a home that you want that 20% down payment. You get there pretty fast. Yep. So it's just about making that first initial important step out of college to live on less than you make, so that you can get the debt out your life and start to be able to build up whatever wealth you need. If it's investing in your future or being able to save for a house, that would be the biggest tip I would give to college graduates.
So you can go at Online Campus School and subscribe here and hit the notification so you get notified anytime we upload new videos. We have very interesting content here. So feel free to go ahead and watch whatever you like. You can also check my courses on Udemy. This is one of my latest course, Solar System 101 course for all level. This is one of the—
Hi everyone and welcome. I'm MD Jallo. I am an educator, a project manager, a data analyst about space and the long skills from public available information. Would you like to learn and refresh your knowledge about what is space? How big is space? About our solar system, about our own star, the sun, Kuiper Belt, the Earth cloud, beyond our solar system, with exoplanets and galaxies, planets, dwarf planets, moons in our solar system, and then learn about eclipses, asteroids, comets. I will see you inside the course. Ready, set, let's go!
Course, if you like it, to learn a little bit about our solar system. And also have other courses there. You can see here some other courses. The Ultimate Amazon Leadership Principle Masterclass, complete course on top 41 legit ideas to make money. A brief beginner's guide to gaming, a brief introduction about America. That's a great course also. Starting a business in America as a foreigner. Okay, that one also is a great course. Of course, the solar system course, one of the highest rated course right now on Udemy. Very hard. Make sure to check it out. All right, back to the video. Yeah, that's really good. So if you can get out from college and then leave like like you are a college student, at least for 1-2 years, that's also a good start. And so the generational wealth gap, we hear that a lot. What it is, how can we close that?
Yeah, so it's definitely a generational wealth gap, whether it is a wealth gap between those who are limited income and those who are rich, or it's a racial wealth gap for those. And what I talk about it here is, between African Americans and whites. It has been a study that showed that it was supposed to take African Americans or Black Americans 400 years to close the racial wealth gap. I don't think that is true. I think it can be closed a lot faster with some work, but it's definitely something that has to look at the wrongs of the past in the United States and be able to basically course correct them. So whenever I talk to African American college students, that's what I'm doing. I'm showing them, okay, this is what you need to do. You're coming out of here with way more student loan debt than your white peers, because guess what? You don't have the parents and the grandparents that could have gave you money to go to the school and make it less. So you have to come out here living on half of your salary so you can pay that student loan debt off fast and then make your money work for you. If they do that, whether they're going to college or not, making their money work for them closes that wealth gap a lot faster, because you're getting into a home ownership builds wealth. And then, of course, you're being able to build wealth through investing, whether it's your company retirement plans or it's investing on your own. But either way, the wealth gap can be closed quickly. It just takes some strategy in order for people to do it.
That's a huge topic. So the racial wealth gap, at least 400 years to close it, at least a couple hundred years. So what are other solutions to help people, to help us close that generational wealth gap?
Yeah, and it's some other things. It's definitely being able to, first and foremost, get life insurance, real life insurance, because we have a lot of things going on with GoFundMe accounts.
Yes.
Whenever a person dies, we need to stop doing that. That needs to stop, and having real life insurance, mainly because the life insurance can pay whatever debt that they owe. So let's say you have a house that's not completely paid off. The life insurance pays that off. Now your family has a home, as in property and real estate, inside the family now. Okay. And then also can pay off the burial, the funeral, those kind of things, and then have some money left over for people to have for themselves and to invest on their own. Imagine every person in an African American family or Black American family with life insurance.
Yeah.
The amount of money, it could be $250,000, $500,000, $1 million. And let's say I have $1 million life insurance and I paid off my house before I passed away. They have my two children have $1 million to keep up with the taxes on this house,
right,
and then pay for me to be buried, and everything else is just theirs.
Right.
That is
and also it's insurance money, so it's not a taxable income. So right.
And of course, you can find you find you the right lawyer, you'll keep most of your money. Do have the right lawyer, the right accountant, like everybody else who's wealthy has, and they just pass money through and these different trusts and all that kind of stuff. Have the right,
trust. Gotta go
exactly. Have the right people in place, and majority of that $1 million is going to be, whoever you're leaving it to. That's a really good start for my children, which African Americans, Black Americans have not had in the past. They've not had the life insurance. They've not had the real estate to be able to build wealth through generations. That's the wealth gap, the racial wealth gap we have to start to close right now, but we have to do it in a strategic way. And so, like I said, being able to get out of debt, own real estate, own homes and land, and then make sure you have life insurance so that you're leaving something behind. You're actually giving money instead of costing people money.
Right. I like that. So life insurance has been a lot of families that was one way of transferring wealth to the next generation. And why that, like, a lot of people don't get life insurance? Because right now it's not that expensive, right? Like you can get it, pay little money per month, especially for the minorities. Why a lot of people don't don't go buy those insurances because it's just right here. It's right there. It's very credible. It's a well-regulated industry.
Yes. And I think it's really about awareness about, that it doesn't cost a lot of money. And so I have term life insurance, and I have $1 million worth of term life insurance. And for people who don't know what term life insurance is, it's basically, it can be 20 or 30 years. It's for a term. And people say, well, Janae, what am I going to do if I outlive the 20 or 30? The point is to have enough money to leave your children after that. So if I make it through the 30 years, I'm still here, thank God. Then guess what? I should have more than $1 million saved. Not just the $1 million of insurance. The $1 million is just there for the insurance. And it costs $30 a month. $30 a month for $1 million. And then, like I said, on the outside of that, I should be investing, saving money, paying down my home, those kind of things, so that I'm building wealth outside of that. The insurance is just a safety net, just in case. But I'm building wealth so that they have more than $1 million in 30 years to be able to have. They don't have to worry about the life insurance. I've already saved it, plus more on the other end.
Wow. Actually, that's great. That's great. So what are some of the companies, like some of the trusted companies in life insurance, or you just need to talk to a financial advisor to help you out?
Yeah, I would talk to a financial advisor. And if you see, it could be friends or family or somebody you see online that you trust, be able to talk to them about whatever life insurance that they offer. I would not touch whole life insurance. Anybody that's telling you that life insurance is an investment, can be an investment, leave them alone. Life insurance is not for you to invest in. Okay. Those type of insurances cost too much money per month. And if you die before you take the cash value out of it, you lose it. So that is very scammy to me. So that's why I said, find someone that you trust that's talking about life insurance as a way to pay off any debt if you pass away, and to leave money for whoever you want to leave it to. But it's no particular company. You have a lot of different ones out here that are available, but make sure it's something that is known. Okay. Make sure that it's somebody who's known.
Yeah, especially right now, there's a lot of different type of life insurance. And like they call them the smart life insurance, where they try to make life insurance as an investment, life insurance with living benefits, things that you can do while you're still alive. So you got to be extra, take some precaution to make sure you know what you're getting into, right?
Definitely make sure if they say life insurance as an investment, that is a red flag. Walk away from those people. Say, thank you for your meeting. Thank you for your time. I am going to leave now.
So I'm going to go invest in the stock market.
Exactly. Yeah. And you get a better return. It like the whole thing about whole life and anybody talking about cash value and those kind of type insurance is bad all around. It costs way more than insurance should. They take your money if you die before you take it out. And last but not least, the interest is not great. You can make more money in the stock market. It's just a bad investment all the way around.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you talked about, you have a global reach. You talked about Canada, South Africa. So on a global note, what's your thought about the global economy? Let's go global a little bit.
Yes. So I definitely love, looking at the world of money and money around the world. I look at Bloomberg nonstop. I look, whenever the Australia Open comes on, Australia Today, Asia opening, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at tomorrow's money news at night here in the United States. I absolutely love the world economy when it comes to money. And so I tell everybody we're interconnected. One thing that, I talk about, I look at, like right now, China is, believe it or not, struggling in their economy. While the rest of us are raising interest rates, the Federal Reserve in the United States, those at the European Central Bank, they're raising their rates. China just decided to cut theirs because they're trying to get their economy going. That is a red flag for the world because they're the second biggest economy. And so the reason why people may say, well, why do I care about China? I don't live there. Well, our stock market opened up lower today because of it. That's costing me money. That's costing people who have, investments money. So it's important to understand what the global economy is doing because it affects your finances. When Ukraine and Russia started, our prices here in the grocery stores went up. You may not be invested in the stock market at all, but guess what? You are invested somewhere. So when your wheat goes up, when your egg prices go up, milk prices go up, that's because of the world economy.
Yeah, that's true. We are very it's like a small village.
Yes, it is.
We're very, dependent on each other, but a lot of people don't know that, especially
they don't understand it.
If you don't travel outside the United States.
No.
Especially like you said, during COVID, we have supply chain issues.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that are not built here in the United States that come in, and vice versa. A lot of stuff that get exported from the United States to overseas. Yeah, it's good to have an idea about what's going on around the world. Do you give advice to people globally about money management?
Yes, and that's another thing about financial literacy to me is meeting people where they are.
Right.
So when I was in Johannesburg, South Africa, I was at a business retreat, and one of the young ladies who was actually from Johannesburg, she heard what I did because everybody there had different businesses, but I was the only one that deal with finances. And she said, Janae, what would you do, or what would you suggest to people who work like in a market? So first we had to get through, like I was trying to figure out what was she talking about? Was she talking about people working in the mall or working in the market? Once we got past that, then I was like, I got you, I'm ready. Because here we call it the flea market, but there they call it the market, and everybody has their own thing. It's the same thing I talked about at the beginning. People who have a certain skill set. Everybody who's had the market, a lot of them have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and so forth, and selling those. I told her, I said, when they bring the money in, the steps are the same. It doesn't matter how much money you make or how you made it. The steps are the same. I said, so as soon as they make their money for that day for the market, then it's about, okay, what can I save? What can I add to whatever debt I may have? A lot of people, what I found in other countries, don't have debt like Americans. That's like we're in tens of thousands of dollars of debt. They may be in a few, what equates to like a couple of $100s. Right. And although they make less, it's about the discipline. And I tell them all the time, I say, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how you are able to manage it, what you make it. So in South Africa, I've been able to do that. In Dubai, their issue is that they try to make those who are older retire. Like they can't work as long. My mother's still working. My mother is going to be 74 years old. That would never happen in Dubai. They want you to be out there and they want you to be done at, I think it was like 50 or 55. So imagine not having a steady income for 20, 30 years. And so I told the young lady, because this was about her mother and her father who had to be forced into retirement. I said, the great thing is that you all have the internet. They have the internet. What can they sell online? Something that they can monetize and be able to maybe create a store. And we worked through that. She was actually my photographer for the day. And we were done for the entire day. And she asked me that question. And that's usually what happens when I go to overseas, is that people find out what I do. And then they just sit down and ask me questions. Then I end up making a whole financial plan for whatever the question is. And I have because that's my passion. I love helping people be able to, like I said, I work with a lot of people who are limited income or middle class. I want them to get to wherever they want to be. Whatever your dreams are, I want them to be able to financially, be able to achieve them. Yeah,
that's really good. That's a great story. In South Africa, it's a very different context, very different financial system there.
Yeah.
And also the same thing in Dubai, very different. It's good that you have that global view. That's great. That you can definitely the principles stays the same, like you said. You try to find what money is coming in, how attract what how they're tracking their expenses, how they're building generational wealth. But if you're not being CEO of your business, or if you're not working in the coaching people in finances, what are some of your hobbies? What do you do to relax, to recharge a little bit?
Yeah. And so I love Marvel movies. Okay.
No,
I love
Marvel. Wow.
I
I love
I'm
Marvel too.
yeah, so I'm very much into Marvel. I'm into things like Transformers and X-Men and all those kind of things, Jurassic World, anything like that. So I will watch those movies over and over and over again. Like if they come on, I'm there. Because, a lot of times I'm doing work while they're in the background and I know what's going on. So I don't have to really pay attention to it. But I love Marvel. I love watching my son play basketball, my daughter play tennis. Those are two things as well. That's what relaxes me. And the most important thing that I love to do is take a nap. That
Yeah,
I like taking naps.
that's
That
really good.
recharges me. Yeah.
That's really good. Did you watch Black Panther?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the second
yeah,
one. The second
whenever
one.
Marvel comes out, yeah, Wakanda Forever. Whenever Marvel comes out, I'm there the first day. I am there the first day.
Did you saw Avatar?
I have not seen Avatar, so I haven't watched Avatar. Yeah, I haven't
Avatar
watched
is great.
Avatar.
Avatar is
Yeah,
good
that's what
too.
everybody
Yeah,
says. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
I haven't
really
seen Avatar.
the new one. The Way of Water is good. So tennis.
Mhm.
So do you play tennis or do you
I
coach?
did.
Okay.
So I played tennis in college, at Division I. So now my daughter plays it, and so I pay for coaching for the most of the time because she can stress me out, and
Mhm.
so I don't tend to do things with her. But every now and then I will coach her or train her. I had to do that yesterday because camp was rained out. So before the rain came, I actually trained her, and then we were done. We got about an hour in, and that's all I could take.
Wow. So do
Yeah,
you still play? That's a great workout. You have leg
it
movement,
is.
you have
Yeah,
cardio, you have
yeah.
some strength. That's a good workout. Wow.
Yeah. I only can do so much. My breath is not like it was, 20 years ago. So I only can do so much.
You also
Yeah.
play basketball.
Yeah, a little bit. Her dad trains in basketball and played basketball in college. So
Yeah.
my son, that's what he does now. He trains once his arm is better.
Mhm.
Again, he trains about 4 hours a day. And she
Oh, wow.
trains right now. She trains when camp is going on for the summer, she'll train 5.5 hours a day in tennis.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. That's also a good healthy life, having
Yes.
sport to do. I like going at the gym. I like running a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, but tennis is definitely hard.
Yeah.
That's
It
that's
is.
really good. That's
It is.
really
It
good.
works every part of your body, every
Yeah,
part of it. Yeah.
that's true. So for people out there who are struggling,
Mhm.
how can we give them hope?
Yeah.
What can they do to get back on their feet? What's
Mhm.
your advice to young people
Yeah.
around the world?
Yeah. And for anyone that's going through a hard time right now, and there are a lot of people around the world going through a hard time, financially or just in life, I always tell them just understand that it won't always be this way. It will not always be this way. Every time it rains, eventually the sun comes out. And so you just have to be able to endure it. Even when it comes to finances, I've seen a bad day. Trust
Yeah,
me. I know what people have gone through where you feel like you don't know where the next paycheck is coming from. You don't know how you're going to pay this. I've had to move dates around on bills to make sure that they were not late. I understand struggle. And
yeah,
so just understand that there is light on the other side. There's another day coming. And right now, you just have to be able to survive enough to get the money coming back in. And then from there, that's when you get back on your feet and you thrive. But just make it through while you're going right now.
yeah. And how to deal with stress. As
Yes.
money come with a lot of stress. People stress
Yes.
about finances. How to relax, say, whoo, let's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
let's just live a
Yeah.
good life, right? Let's be
Yeah.
positive. Let's spread love.
and
How
and
to
and
deal
it's
with
just
stress.
it's just and I know with financial stress because you're thinking about what you used to have and what you don't have right now. But I always tell people to try to find free things to be able to do, to be able to just to escape for a while. Free things could be walking outside in the sunshine and letting the sun hit you, being able to breathe fresh air,
Yeah,
go to a park or go to a festival or something that people are enjoying themselves for free. There are a lot of things going around the world on a daily basis that you can just go and do for free. It's about just getting you back in the right spirit to make it to the next day. That's what I tell people all the time. Make it through the next day. And like I said before, it won't always be this way. I always tell people that it won't always be this way. One day you will look back and remember, man, I remember how I felt and look where I'm at now.
Wow, that's so good. That's powerful. It will not be always this way. Thank you, Janae, for being here. Thank you for sharing your story, how you paid off $50,000 in just 2 years. We learned a lot, how to build, how to have your dream sheet, to know your why, track your spending, have your spending plan, and, and you help, and you try to help people win with their money. Like I saw that on your website where you said, I help you win with your money so you can do whatever you want.
Yes, that's what
What
it's
a
about.
great ending. That's all. That's what it's about. And thank you for being here, and hope to see you next time where we can do this again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So if you like what you've seen so far, don't forget to subscribe and check my courses online.